clients don't need a full-time other executive. For a company that's undergoing major growth, about $5 million.
Hello and welcome back to Klik TV. Here we talk about technology and how it affects your business, giving you our tips and tricks for a better IT experience. My name is Paulina and my guest today is Hillel Glazer. He's the principal with TCV Growth Partners. Hello, Hillel. How are you today?
Good, Chris. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you like to do in your free time?
So my background is very technical. I started out in heavy industry and aerospace and moved kicking and screaming into technology, software, and IT. And been doing a lot of different things with a lot of different companies from all sizes. I guess now it's become more of a job than a hobby to spend time with startups and growth-oriented scaling companies. But what I really like to do for fun is I use a plane to go save animals from shelters where there's not enough room and they are at risk of being euthanized, and I fly them to other places where there's room for the dogs or cats to be adopted eventually.
Oh my God, that's so great. You're doing a God's work.
It's fun. It's good. It's an excuse. I mean, ask any pilot, give them an excuse to fly, or they'll find an excuse to fly.
That's true. Well, thank you for a great introduction. What is your role within the company?
So I'm one of the consultants, providers. There's 6 of us at the moment. We are fractional executives or part-time executives, temporary executives, but all of us come in and take the role of whether it's chief sales officer or chief executive officer or chief financial officer, operations, whatever at that level for a company that's undergoing major growth. Or they're stuck.
Yeah.
They've gotten to a point where they can't make progress and they don't know why. Often they're not making progress because the founder or a few founders are trying to do everything. And they just don't have the capacity to do everything. And sometimes the things that they're trying to do, it's not where their strengths are. So they could use help in whether it's sales, like leading a sales force, or operations. Become someone that might have been a project manager may not be the right person to become chief operating officer. Or chief technology officer, or whatever. A lot of times a founder of a technical company is very technical, but not great at execution or sales, operations, finance. We like to say we want the founders to wear the hats that fit, and we can come in and wear the other hats for as long as they need us. Typically, clients don't need a full-time other executive. They need a few hours a month. And that's perfect for what we do.
Well, it sounds like you're a really busy person.
Yes, thankfully. There are lots of growth companies out there. There's a lot of great things happening. Thankfully, there's a lot of new ideas, so that's why I keep my fingers in the startups, just to see what's happening. And plenty of opportunities. The hardest part of our jobs is helping the prospective clients realize that they can get other help. They don't have to do it alone, and it doesn't have to, break the budget.
Absolutely. Can you share with us the primary focus for TCV Growth Partners?
So mostly we're looking for companies that are in a growth situation. They're already established, so they're not looking for their first customers. They're not looking for their first employees. They're typically minimum revenues of about $5 million. Depending on what they do, they can be as high as 25, 30, $40 million. It just depends on what they do to have that revenue, because really it has to do with as much of operational cost and margin than just pure revenue. So So our focus is on helping those companies be great at what they're doing and eventually working our way out of a job.
Okay.
You know, because we don't want to be their full-time person. So we want to get them to the point where they need a full-time person, and we help them find that person. We're not recruiters, let's be clear, but we can help them screen whoever the recruiter brings, because we know the job after having done it for them.
Exactly. Well, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing. How would a smaller business benefit by partnering with you and your firm?
I think it's a pretty easy, once we get past that initial resistance, where just like with Klik, they don't want to be their IT department, right? They don't want to be the back office for those pieces of the technology. In our case, they don't have the capacity to be everything. And so if what's preventing them from growing is attention span, they just don't have the attention to give, whether it's reformatting their sales process, or it's their strategy, or their go-to-market. Maybe they've went to market, they did great, and then they got stuck. Or they're a product company or a manufacturing company that has reached a capacity limit, and they just can't grow anymore. They have to turn down work, which is not it's a great situation on one hand, but it's really hard to grow when you have to turn down the work. Yeah. So the smaller companies, we can easily be, all of us, I'll just say I'm almost the youngest person in the group. Collectively, we've got each individual advisor, executive in our firm has 25 or 30 or more years experience. And we can literally walk in the door and start to free up the resources and the time for a small company and put them back on a growth path very quickly.
That's awesome. This can make such an impact for an organization.
We think so.
And my last question is, can you share the recent success stories where you were able to help?
Oh, absolutely. So I'll just pick 3 quick ones. One from different, like one sales, one finance, and one operations. There's a lady who was running a company, is still running a company, and was growing, doing great, but could no longer do all of the sales themselves. Yeah. And one of our partners came in and was working with them on their pipeline. But turned out that the salesperson the owner hired wasn't the right fit for the job. But the owner was too busy to realize they weren't the right fit for the job. So our executive came in and coached the CEO in what the sales pipeline should look like, who the person should be to fill that role, and then got them on their feet, and now they are turning away work, and they're in a position to cut off the bottom of their not so great clients and only go after the best clients. In a financial position, company was doing very well, but they had bookkeepers and accountants who didn't have that strategic perspective. And in order to understand the best thing to do with the money and how to account for it, you need someone that doesn't just keep the books and keep the balance sheet. You need somebody who can have that vision, that understanding of how money works. Right. And we put a CFO in place for just a few hours a month, and straightened out that financial side of things and put the organization on a path towards continual.
You made it happen.
Yeah, made that happen. And just operationally, a company. I was actually beginning to describe it earlier. They're growing like crazy. They've got amazing customers. They've got really cutting edge technology, and they cannot keep up with all the work. And in today's economy, good luck finding people to hire. And so, because you can't just hire somebody into the new positions because there's you can't find them. Yeah. We had to redo and rethink how they prioritize the work, how they organize the work. How do we free up certain resources using automation or just simply better planning or better contract negotiation so that they can use their limited resources on all of the volume that they have, because they're just not going to be able to hire fast enough.
Right.
And so far that's also going, of course, well. It's just a matter of coming in from the outside, because we don't have to worry about the fires that are burning right now. We can think outside the box and long term that a founder doesn't have the luxury of doing, because they've got problems right now.
Yeah.
And we can come in and think for them on things that they don't have the time for.
Well, that's awesome. Sounds like you have a great industry. It's working.
It's so far so good, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this information with our viewers. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And good luck with everything you're doing.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Stay tuned for more useful content. Are you up to date on the latest updates? The new full-service digital marketing agency, Klik Digital, has been rolled out to market. We offer a big variety of marketing services, from digital marketing strategy to website hosting, content creation, video marketing, blogging, CEO optimization, and much more. Click the link below for details. Thank you for joining us today. Till next time.